Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Hello. I'm going to be talking about flossing today. Why am I making a video about flossing? Well, flossing is very important. It really is very important. If you watch all of this video, you'll probably start flossing. At least I hope you will. If you look into my mouth, I'm not sure you saw that. All my teeth, all of them. I'm 37 years old. They were rotted out. 37 years old. Been brushing since I was like 2 or 6 or 5 or whatever. I remember my dad, brushing my teeth over the sink in Scotland. So I thought I was doing pretty good. You probably think you're doing pretty good if you don't floss. You probably think you're okay with 2 brushes a day or whatever. I just brushed once a day, that's fine. Here's what happens. Let me just say again, if it isn't clear. If you don't floss, you're going to lose your teeth. They're going to be destroyed, decayed. It's only a matter of time. I believe, personally, after what I've learned about flossing, courtesy of my beautiful dental assistant, Amanda something or the other, German, beginning with a V, who I didn't get to date, incidentally, as much as I wanted to. She was like from Nova Scotia, I believe. Or was it Saskatchewan? She was really pretty, and I thought we had a vibe going on. See, that's what happens. There's 2 things that happen. A, I get sidetracked quite a lot, both speaking and writing, because that's what's going on in my mind, with my thinking. So I get sidetracked, and guys get the wrong message from girls. See, I tell girls, or I try to tell girls, usually the ones I talk to I'm hitting on, but I'll be blunt with you. Imagine you're fat, and you consider yourself ugly. That's all you need to do. Smile at any guy. What happens is, it's probably the same with girls, but they hide it better. What happens is, I gotta keep switching it up. Like I said in my movie, Islam, Amway and Evolutionism, which you can find on Vimeo if you Google me there, or search for me there. Search for, Hussein Zaidi, I guess. Suppose you're fat and ugly. All you need to do is smile at a guy. Even if you're petrified. I tell folks in general, show them your teeth. I'll be walking down the path and I'll see this person coming up the way, and I get this really strong or bad vibe from them, which is essentially my brain creating negativity, let's say. It could be they're sending me a vibe. It could be I'm doing what most of us do, which is be judgmental and critical of others, as opposed to being critical of yourself. Our 60th man, peace be upon him, said that a person who's self-critical is very lucky, he's very fortunate, and he's actually very rare too, right? So, walking down the way, guys coming up the way, I just go like this. How's it going? A lot of times people don't even say anything. I think they're shocked that someone's even speaking to them, especially here in Toronto. I love Toronto, but Torontonians are a bit uptight. You'll come to know if you move here. Like if you see someone smoking and you ask them for a cigarette, 9 times out of 10, if not 9.5 times out of 11, they're going to say the same thing. What they're going to say is every single time, or let's say 9.5 out of 11 or what have you, just try it. If you're that stuck up on the statistics versus the fact, then you go do the research. I's just here to tell you that most Torontonians will say 1 of 2 things. A, nothing, and B, this is my last cigarette, if, especially downtown, you ask them for a smoke. Fat girls smile at guys. People in general, smile at other people. Show them your teeth. Politicians have a fake smile. And the better you are at politicking, the better your fake smile. Why? Why do you think that is? Try that shit. You know what? Some people don't say anything. Some people say hello. Some people actually light up. And it's worth it just for them. It's like that one guy who reads your book and it changes his life. It's like, that's pretty cool. Like, I discovered some people on Twitter who had actually been on my website and they loved that shit and they're retweeting it and all this kind of stuff. I was like, whoa, this was like months ago. I'm kind of like, I got a delayed response thing going on with the social networks and Facebook. Like, people send me a message on Facebook and I'll like get back to them like a month later. I just don't have time for that nonsense, really. If a tweeter, I can tweet now. Like, I'll just tweet anything. And the thing is, it's 2 in 1, right? It goes to Twitter and then it goes to Facebook, and it's like Guy Kawasaki, look him up. He tweets like apparently every hour. And like this other lady, Kelly Oxford, look her up. She's got like almost 500,000 followers, and she was a stay-at-home mom from Calgary, which is where I immigrated, or we immigrated, in the year 2000. So, fat girls, smile, because it really is the case. You might or might not think I'm a handsome guy. I've been told I am. I personally think I'm very handsome, not just handsome. I saw a fat girl at the gas station yesterday, and actually she did have very beautiful eyes, and I was extremely attracted to her. She was on the phone and she was kind of shy, and I told her, I think it's amazing that you're shy. I think it's very attractive. I walked up to her and I said, I hope you don't mind me saying this. You know, here's what I do, or here's why I do what I do in terms of talking to girls or whatever, commenting. I've learned to do it tactfully, first of all, but it's like, there's a saying of Imam Ali's, peace be upon him, that a thing that deserves being complimented should be complimented, something to that effect. So if you see a nice car, instead of burning up inside, or being like, oh wow, look at that, I'll be like, gun it, gun it, gun it, gun it. You got a Porsche or a Mustang, jump that baby over the intersection. And I'll say to people, if they've got their window rolled down, if I'm driving by at 140, I'll be like, dude, beep, if you can hear me, I'll be like, that car rules, man. You know why? Because most people aren't born rich. And if they have a car like that, it's because they worked their ass off for it. And besides, it's a great car and they've got good taste. Flossing. You're wondering about flossing, right? Forget the piece of string. Right, let's just get that straight. It's this thing. It still sucks. It's not fun. I've been doing this for 4 or 5 months straight, every single day, every single freaking day. And I'll tell you why in a sec. Alright, it's because tartar builds up. Like 36 hours after you've eaten, you've got some plaque residue on your teeth. Now what that is the residue of the food that's left in your teeth. Now you can brush off the flat planes, okay? But there's residue that stays inside, and this is the thing. It's one of those things that most people don't know about. I didn't have a clue about this stuff. It's one of those things which is very important, and in fact, I don't know if I'd say deadly, but crucially important. I mean, you don't want your teeth rolling out, right? However, most people don't realize that you need to floss in order to prevent that. The plaque builds up after 36 hours. It starts hardening. Okay, it becomes tartar. Like this girl Amanda scraped like fucking like cement blocks of tartar from in back of my mouth and all over. The first thing that they do is when they clean your teeth, they'll be scraping all the tartar off with like a little scraper, more or less. Unfortunately, it doesn't stop there. If the tartar just built up, it'd be kind of like a buttressing for your teeth, and you might even start thinking that it's like supporting my teeth or whatever. I don't know. I'm kind of like trying to be funny, not succeeding. The tartar starts to eat into your teeth. Dig it. Your teeth start to decay. It goes down to your gums. Your gums start bleeding, which is gingivitis. And your teeth get hollowed out. All my teeth, I got like 15 fillings in my mouth. 15 fillings. I'm not even kidding. At least 10, if not 15. They filled all of my teeth. I had to go back there multiple times, like from November to December. And Amanda's all the while explaining patiently as she's batting her eyelashes and all this nonsense. She's explaining all this shit to me. And here's the thing. I'm a good student, and she was very attractive, quite frankly. But I'm a good student, moreover. And I told her I'd write about blogging. Actually, I wanted to date her, right? So I'm looking for, like being a sales guy, I'm looking for my method of approach. And you know, like, I'm actually very good at walking up to someone and saying exactly what's on my mind, no matter who. Oh, that's one of the reasons I don't get on in the corporate world, because it's not that I'm just good at it. It's like, that's what I do. It's like, I'll do it. Like, I'll speak my mind. Somebody will be like, let's wrap that up in a box. I'll be like, are you stupid? I won't say it like that, but that's the vibe I give out. I can't help it. My elder brother says, you see, Hassan, your problem is that you make everyone around you feel stupid. Now, I've tried to be tactful, but it's like Imam Ali, peace be upon him, said that sometimes the expressions of your face leak out your feelings. That's what it is, right? So if I look at someone and he's tying that ribbon on the box, and I'm like, that's a gasket, dude. It's leaking oil. You're putting it in a fucking paper bag box, right? And so the guy will look at me, and moreover, the other people will see me looking at him like this. And in early on, they think I'm stupid. Later on, they think I'm, you know, cocky, arrogant, whatever. For a long time, I thought I was. And you know what it is? It's that I'm not fucking stupid. Okay? And that's a nice way of saying that most people I meet are fucking stupid. And unfortunately, that is me being, like, I'm boasting. I'm boasting about my intelligence. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, God the most glorified, the Almighty, says in the Quran, we do not like the boastful. See, here's the thing. I'll try and tone the boasting down. I simply want to state, for anyone who I've pissed off or will piss off, who watches this or may not even watch it, I'm very intelligent. I can read you like a fucking book, and what happens is you don't even realize what you're doing. And it astounds me. The fact that you don't even realize what you're doing astounds me. But then what you're doing is so, it's just like gnarly. Like Imam Ali, peace be upon him, he said, the example of the people of this world is as of travelers who are being carried while they're sleeping. Right? Time, I guess, is carrying you on. The caravan of time, or the procession, or whatever the fuck, but you're asleep at the wheel. I'll tell you. You'll be like, oh no, that means the other people, not me. Okay, that's me too, by the way. It's me too, I'm not just saying that. Here's how you corroborate whether or not you're asleep at the wheel. If your life is the most wonderful, amazing, waking dream adventure full of beauty and marvelous colors that you ever thought possible could exist, then you're okay. Otherwise, you're asleep. Right? So, you take this thing, forget about the string, by the way, forget about that shit. Just don't go there. You know, you shouldn't waste any money. Don't waste $1.25 or whatever it is on that stuff. Get one of these. Rub up one side, rub down one side, up and down one side, all the way up, all the way back, all the way up, all the way back. If you get your wisdom teeth removed, it's not a bad thing, apparently. I didn't get mine removed. They encouraged me to get one removed. In fact, talking about removed, check this shit out. I got one missing. Huh? Look at that. I got one fucking missing. You know why that's missing? Flossing. Fucking flossing. That shit just basically broke in half, and was like half of it was there. And months later, obviously, I dragged my ass into a dental office, and they're like, you know, they didn't even say anything. They just scraped my teeth, then they just started putting fucking fillings in my mouth. One after the other, bam, 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 but they pulled the tooth out, obviously. That fucking sucked, man. That guy had like a pair of pliers, and he was like, he's like, it's not coming out. I'm like, fucking A, right, it's not coming out. So, floss, okay? Is that clear? I think it's clear. I think it should be clear. Here's how far you need to take this thing. It occurred to me to ask the dentist, and I did, what about children? Do you know what she said? She said, oh, it's very easy. They all kept telling me, oh, it's very easy, you'll get used to it. You know what, it fucking sucks. How do I get through this stuff? I put earphones on and listen to an audiobook. That's the only way I get through this shit. Today I did it like solo, and fuck, I'm happy and surprised and gratified. Maybe it is getting a bit easier. But I gotta pipe down. My roommate's probably gonna be like, what the fuck is he doing? Is he on the phone again? You're kicking me out of this place, man. My landlord's kicking me out of this place. Why? It's like he didn't like me bringing my wife around or something. It's like so retarded. And he told me on the phone when I called him from Calgary that, oh, that's going to be okay if she's your wife. And then today he calls up and he starts giving me all this BS about, he said, I know you're a Shia because he's a Sunni Muslim. He's like, is it a temporary marriage? Is it a muta? And fuck, for some reason, I avoided the question completely and went around in circles. And he's fucking smart as shit, man. He chased me around like a cat. And I was getting heat up, and then finally I fucking lost it. And that's when I lost the room too. Because he's like, listen, man, this is day 6. You just fucking flipped out on me. Where do you think this is going to lead? And I'm like, listen, I'm sorry I lost my temper. Then I was like, listen, I get passionate, and you were talking over the phone, and I was talking, and I wanted you to come round and let's talk in person, and I was escalating my voice and tone and all this kind of bullshit. Fuck him, is what I wrote to him, basically. I quoted Imam Ali, peace be upon him. Now, before I quote this quote, I'll preface it with something I often say, fucking often. I've said it to like hardcore Christians. Bring me one sentence like the following statement which I'm about to make, which is a quote of Imam Ali's. One sentence from anyone, from any time, which is on par with the following statement. Now, once again, subjectivity, etc., etc. How can you objectively compare two statements? Well, you'll just have to take my word for it. You bring me a statement like this, a statement along the lines of that which will follow here. I will follow that person. I will follow that person, which means that I'll consider him, like I've got this guy called Nityananda. He's an Indian guru. I follow him. I got this guy called Gary Vaynerchuk. I follow him. I even have an atheist called Sam Harris. Because nothing I've heard come out of his mouth wasn't reasonable, inspirational, that kind of stuff. He was out there. Now, why would God guide an atheist and make him enlightened? Why would he do that? Why do you think he would do that? He'd do that so that people argue with each other. The Quran says people who are deluded by this get deluded. And he says that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala says, the hour approaches. اقترب الساعة وهم يخوضون, something like that. The hour approaches. And they're just playing around and arguing. We're told not to wade, like you're wading in the pool. Don't wade with those who wade. It means wading in a stupid fucking theological, political, business, marketing, my socks are greener and redder than your socks kind of discussion, which is just pointless. And it's just fucking people showing off and all this kind of nonsense. Me, I'll tell you honestly. Actually, here's another statement from our 60 Imam, peace be upon him. Same preface, okay? Same preface. You bring me a statement like this, I'll follow that person. And actually, the corollary, I was going to say subtext, nice word, huh? I love that word, subtext. What the hell is subtext, huh? Like, is it underneath or before? Is it like contextual? These are the kinds of things that interest a grammatically correct person like myself and a writer. People think I speak well, and they think I was born with it. I was actually. But what I didn't let happen was I didn't allow it to peter off over the years. Now, my wife for 8 years is from Colombia. Her English is the cutest thing in the world. Like just yesterday, or the day before, we were walking in the mall and she says something like, isn't it beautiful? Like, that's what she does sometimes. She says it twice. But she says it in such an endearing way that you just can't help falling head over heels. At least I couldn't. So, Imam Sadiq, the 6th Imam, great grandson of Prophet Muhammad, peace be upon him and his family, said, Allah is not worshipped with anything greater than silence. Oh, I mean, just let it settle in. Let it settle into your heart. Forget about the source. Just let it settle in. Think about that stuff. Every time you come back to that statement, it's going to blow your mind. It's just going to, that's why it's called, it's like a fountain. Here's Imam Ali's statement. I actually forgot it, believe it or not. So let's just go back to flossing and basically, that's it really, right? So you floss every day. If you don't, you'll get plaque, which becomes tartar, which becomes gingivitis. And, oh yeah, I asked the dentist, what about kids? Do you know what she said? She's like, oh, it's easy. She's like got a 3 and a 5 year or 2-year-old, something silly like that. She's like, oh, I just stick them on my lap and just do it really quickly. And she does it with string. Like, these people are like experts. But, you know what, if I had kids, I'd do that too. Unfortunately, now it's like, now that I know it, I cannot not do it. One of my personal beliefs is that a rational person cannot do anything that endangers themselves, that is harmful, right? So you might say, well, a lot of rational people smoke. The problem there is that it's a deferred pain, and it's not crystallized or concrete. You may get cancer. Cigarettes may have an effect on health. It's not statistically corroborated and all this kind of rubbish. However, I'll tell you something. You want to eat better? That's a big one, by the way, eating. Eating is a big one. Big, huge. Obviously, you are what you eat. What else can you say about that? You want to eat better, I'll tell you what you do. If you want to cut down on chips, what you do is go research that stuff. Research whatever is in there. Look at the back of the bag, Google like chips, harmful, whatever. Be creative. Just go into the depths of it until your mind tells you stop. Like Imam Ali, peace be upon him, said, delve into the depths until you reach the truth. What will end up happening is the more you learn about how harmful that crap is for you, the less you'll eat of it. That's it. That's how you program yourself to succeed. That is how you program yourself to succeed. I don't have time to do. What is it? I don't have time to elaborate on that, right? But I do want to say something else and a bunch of other stuff, but I really can't. I mean, just go away and floss. And if you've got questions, ask your dentist. And that's about it. There was one other thing though. It was something along the lines of, if you know something, you'll stop doing it. And the more you know about it, the less you'll do of it. Oh yeah, I wanted to give you an example. Right, you want to stop eating sweets? Everyone does. That's a big one, obviously, and chocolate especially. Then know this, that when you eat sugar, sugar goes into your blood, and your blood has too much sugar in it. Sets off alarm bells, your body goes into emergency mode. What it starts doing is secreting insulin, tons of this stuff. It floods your veins. What it does is it isolates and captures the sugar, molecules or whatever. What it does with them is stuff them into your fat muscles, or fat, not muscles, but your fatty tissue as glucose or glycogen. Glycogen's in the blood. So A, you're getting fat. B, the high level of insulin makes you prone to become a diabetic. And not to mention, there's all sorts of stuff that goes on. Like, basically, it's the equivalent of you going to school and some kid sets off the fire alarm. Like, they set it off like twice a day. Twice a day, and you got the truck coming twice a day. And people think that's normal. People are like, well, fuck the kids, what are you going to do? And they stop even thinking about it. I mean, you can adapt to anything. You probably know that, right? I mean, it's a pretty valid and universally held belief, but it's retarded, and that's what you're doing with your body. You're putting it in emergency mode. Not eating is apparently the worst, but I mean, I beg to differ there. I mean, I'm actually quoting from this great book called The Mood Cure. The Mood Cure. Look that stuff up. It's like Julia Ross. Like, she's a clinician. I don't know if she's an MD, but she has a clinic in San Francisco, and she basically linked food and moods. It's incredible. It's incredible. You know why I'm like this right now? Why? Serotonin. I listened to that tape. I was like, this is the shit, man. I went to the nutrition store and I made notes. I was showing her my phone. I was like, do you have this stuff? 5-HTP? Have you got tryptophan? Have you got SAMe? SAMM-E. Have you got GABA? Have you got tyrosine? Pick some of that stuff up. I've been like high as a kite for like 2 days. Natural high. I look pretty good, right? The difference between my high and a fucking drug dealer junkie with a heroin thingy syringe sticking out of his arm is, this is natural. This is actually the way we were meant to be. I like to call us humanimals. Humanimals. When I walk around, I've got like a sensual periphery, if you know what I mean. I'm listening to everything that goes on around me and noticing everything in my field of vision. Everything. Everything. Nothing escapes me. And if you're talking to me and if I'm paying attention, I'll get caught up on nuances within nuances. That's why sometimes people say, well, you don't let people talk and you keep cutting people off. It's because their statements are so loaded. It goes back to this thing I was saying earlier about being intelligent. I can't help it. It's like a fucking curse. I love it though. I love it. You know, for us, Imam Sadiq, peace be upon him, said something to the extent that, well, this is what he did. Believe it or not. This is what he did. You might think this is extremely profound. You might have tuned out by now, in which case, adio. He listed the armies of ignorance and the armies of aql, it's called. Aqla. Aql. A-Q-L. A's got a little apostrophe on it because it's not aql, it's aql. It's one of those sounds that scare people. It's like kha and yeah. That's about the only ones. And then ha, because there's a ha, which is just a level flat H, and then there's a ha, like Hussein, my name. If somebody asked me what's your name and I went Hussein, that's it, man. My career here in the West would be over. It'd be fucking over, right? Actually, here's the thing. Everything's got a flip side. So when you got a sales guy called Hussein calling you up, most people would say, well, that fucking sucks. I'll tell you something. A sales principle that I have come up with, or maybe others, and I just stumbled upon, or maybe it's like some subconscious filtering whereby I read Brian Tracy or Roger Dawson or Zig Ziglar or what have you, Tony Robbins, and the stuff filtered into my brain. This is the sales principle, and it applies to pretty much anything in life. It's actually very juicy. Everything is so juicy. I mean, what can I tell you? Don Juan asked Carlos Castaneda. He said, what do you think about life? Do you enjoy life? Or do you think like you're like a leaf blowing around, being blown around by the wind? Something like that. How do you feel like about your circumstances and whatnot? In general, about life, how do you feel? I don't know if it's a profound question, but it's a pretty profound answer. Well, at least the one Don Juan gives Castaneda. Castaneda's like, oh yeah, you know, he was telling the truth. He's like, you know, I just feel heavy and people this and people that and circumstances this, and he's like basically bitching and moaning and complaining instead of like pulling his fucking socks up and acting like he's got some grit, which actually girls do better than guys. Trust me on that. You guys think that Muslims are bad with women or something? I said this the other day to someone who it turns out actually had been dating a Muslim. I said to her, you know what, because I just went into this random lecture. She hadn't said anything to set me off. She's just a good listener. And I said, you know what, just talk to a girl who has dated a Muslim. Talk to a girl. You guys to go do that. Whoever thinks that we mistreat women, that girl will say one and only one thing to you. He was the best fucking guy I've ever dated in my life. He used to respect me. He treated me so gently and lovingly. Why is that? I don't even know. I don't think about it because I mean I know we don't mistreat women, so I don't spend too much time thinking about it. I don't have to prove anything to anyone. I got a lot of other stuff to think about. For example, the sales proposition. Man, I'm just going to get out of here. I think we're done with flossing, right? So I've flossed and I got to get out of the bathroom. My roommate's probably thinking I'm on crack or something. Ah, room, sweet room. At least for the time being, right? Fucking landlord, man. Seriously. So what it is here's what it is. It's really cool shit, man. And I'll probably end on this. I made a movie today, and it's like turned out to be 33 minutes. The thing is, it's just because I had so much energy. Now, sometimes people look at a person with energy and they think he's doing coke or something. You got to learn to roll with that shit. You got to learn to roll with it. What I've picked up over the years is, if someone gives you a vibe, ride that shit out. You understand what I'm saying? Let's say this. Someone looks at you and you think that they think that you're a gangster. Be more gangsterly. That's all I'm saying. Now, we'll go back to the question of, or the situation, or the question of, let's say, impugning bad motives to others, let's say. Someone's coming up the way and he gives you a bad vibe. Like there's a song by Living Colour. And he's like, why do you want to give me that funny vibe? The song's called Funny Vibe. And there's a great song called Love Rears Its Ugly Head. See, those guys were like, they dished it out. They didn't say, oh, I'm gonna love you forever, and why did you go away? And see, all those kinds of stupid songs, I think, I could be wrong. Like Rihanna might be different, let's say. Don't ask me why I said that. But a lot of these people, I get the impression, like the pop artists, they're like, they just come up with any kind of bullshit that they think sounds good and sentimental. And it's just, the thing is this, when you talk about something you know about versus something you don't know about, that's the whole difference. And people will be like, well, I rehearsed so much and blah, 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 blah. It's all fucking nonsense. Like the real artists, and I'm beginning to swear now, I wanted to make this PG-13, but fuck, you say fuck more than once, you say it twice, it's already fucking R, right? And I got this little nice table for my stuff so that I could put my clothes into the cupboard, but whatever. You know, whatever and however and whenever and whoever. Okay. Ride the vibe. The question of a vibe, in as much as, did you create it, or did the person create it, or is it in your head, or is it in their head? It's all meaningless. I mean, I have answers for it. I figured it out, but the way I figured it out, and I have fucking figured it out, and I'll tell you about it if I remember, and I will remember. The question of whether or not you're creating the vibe, or he is moot. It's just like somebody thinking you're a gangster. Like, first of all, most people should ask the question, why do I think he thinks I'm a gangster of all things? Why do I think he thinks anything about me? Maybe he's just got an itch in his butt or whatever, and that's why he's making a face, if he is making a face. Part of it is because we hate ourselves and we judge ourselves. That's why we hate and judge others, because you understand, like, the human organism equates others to itself. Let's put it that way. Now, your mind may not do that on a conscious level, right? So hear what I'm saying. So if you, like the mind, we think we're superior, but that's just the ego. In our hearts, we know we're fucking the same as everyone else. But because of the ego, and we follow the ego, we have a detrimental view of ourselves. Okay? And therefore we have a detrimental view of others, because we see others as ourselves. That's it. It's so obvious. We're all the fucking same. And then you'll be like, there's no God. Okay, what is there? And let me just ask you, what is there? You're saying there's no God. Okay, so what is there? You know what they say? They say we don't know and we may never know. And they being fucking asshole atheists who have their heads up their butts. The regular kind. Not the kind like Sam Harris, who I mentioned earlier. In fact, that's the third time I mentioned him today, because he's fucking awesome, and it probably means I need to look him up. And you know what? No time like the present. I'll tell you something. If you put something off, anything, you put it off, shall I tell you something? Here's something scary. This will make you be less lazy. If you put something off, 53% of my video from this afternoon is almost being uploaded to Vimeo. Now, Vimeo is cool because you can upload any kind of length video. Alright, here's the thing. I'm going to show you Sam Harris. I don't give a fuck how long this thing is. Because, I mean, the only thing is that, I made a half-hour movie You know, funny thing is, I made an hour-long movie, like in 2010. I did not compress the file, and I stuck it on Vimeo. Now, I come back with a half-hour movie, and I'm like spending like half an hour to an hour trying to figure out how to compress that shit, man. And it comes out sideways and expanded with the logo of the company, because I didn't want to buy whatever, their stuff. Right? Why would I want to buy their stuff? Why would I do that? Why would I do that? It's just about looking a bit harder, looking, and finding something that, you know, is great, that works. So, if you put something off, you may never ever do it. Ever fucking do it. And I'm even talking about pick that shit up off the floor. If you don't do it right now, you may never do it. Right? I'm telling that to myself as much as you. I swear, like, look at this place. It's a fucking mess. I've been here for like 6 days now. Whatever. I mean, you know. Like, if you're busy and you don't have time, that's okay. That's okay. If you got something more important to do. What you should stop doing, however, is wasting time. Look at it this way. Relaxing, spending time with your family, sleeping, eating, washing, those are all legitimate activities. Your goal is to be as productive as possible. If you don't eat and sleep, and if you don't rest and indulge in recreation from time to time, you're not going to be productive. Why do you want to be productive? Well, why wouldn't you want to be productive? I'll tell you why you want to be productive. You see this thing that we're on? It's spinning around. It flies around the sun every 364 days. You want to be productive because that's the only way you're going to achieve anything in life. Anything. Any fucking thing. You want to be happy? You can't be happy sitting on the couch. You need to go out and read some books and visit and meet with some gurus and reach that stage of enlightenment, which personally I don't believe in. But in any case, Sam Harris, and I'll talk about some other stuff. Oh shit, I'm already on 37 minutes. How did that happen? I just want to make a 5-minute fucking movie on flossing, and it's like we're at 37 minutes now. This is a Mac, by the way. Check this shit out. 3 fingers up. Look what it does. Look at that. And then I just grab whatever I want. I want to go here. I go there. If I go 3 fingers again, boom. Alright, now watch this shit. And Windows just came out with this stuff and they're like, oh, we're so cool. Now 3 fingers this way, this is this shit, man. Oh, look what happens. It just goes back to that thingy. Now 3 fingers this way again. Oh, whatever. It works. Trust me, it works. 1 finger is the mouse, right? Look at 2 fingers. What 2 fingers does is it scrolls stuff up and down. You got 2 fingers going up and down. So 1 finger, 2 fingers, or 3 fingers, either way, that's 6 different combinations. They all do different things. It's really fucking amazing. And then obviously you're like, well, where's the right button? Where's the right mouse button? The mouse is right here. It's right here. You press the whole thing. And when most people use this for the first time, Windows users, they can't use it. They're hitting it and all this kind of shit. Here's the right button. You highlight something, right? What you do is you double press it. You double press the thing. You like, boom. And look, there's your right button. Now, Windows users who are watching this, hark. Alert yourself to the fact that Windows is just not cool. It's just not cool. Just start using a Mac. In the beginning it seems hard and it seems like, why doesn't it let me do this? And the reason it doesn't let you do stuff is because it's secure. It's ultra secure. There's no viruses on Macs. Did you know that? There might have been 1 virus in all of the history of a Macintosh as a computer. What do you think about that? Anyway, Sam Harris, vibes, and the sales principle. Okay, the sales principle is that any objection your customer gives you is also a reason for them to buy. Once again, whatever comes out your customer's mouth, you can turn around and use as a reason for him to buy. You don't even have to think about it. He'll be like, well, I don't have money right now. And you'll be like, without even thinking about it, you can say, well, that's exactly why you need to buy this, Bob. And you can be thinking as you say that. And then it's like, he's like, what do you mean? Oh, Bob, you don't have any money right now. How's that going to change? When are you going to have money? Or let me ask, what are you going to do in order to get money? So basically, you're squidging into the fact that you're giving him value, and part of that value is savings. Bob, you're spending 1,500 a month. This subscription is potentially going to make you $10,000 a month. That's like average. That's even conservative average, Bob. Let's say over the course of a year, you make 3,000, 2,000, and let's say the next year you make 5,000. And let's say you just stay at 5,000 for like 20 years. Do you want me to do the math, or do you want to do the math? I got a calculator right here. And these are not just statistics. You can call 5 of our customers. I'll go find some references for you. We're doing that. So just think about that. I mean, I'm not here to pressure you. I mean, if you like whatever, I know budgeting and whatnot. Okay, you got it, right? In the same way in life, everything that is perceived as a disadvantage is also an advantage. Yeah? I'm not even going to explain that. I'll just leave it there. You're probably not even going to believe me. And in fact, the funny thing is this. Not only is it an advantage, the worse it looks, the better it is. You know that shit? It's some heavy shit, man. Therefore, suffering, like there's this thing about suffering, and I had it too. I had this question about suffering. Right? Suffering. It says, like, the believer has to explain the existence of suffering. You know, why does God let babies have cancer and kids that are hungry and the stuff you see on TV, and 80% of Ethiopia is drought-ridden, and millions of people on the border between Rwanda and the Congo, and all this stuff. They're going around chopping people's hands off with a machete in Sierra Leone. Back up until at least 5-10 years ago, like kids. Fucking kids going to school. They chopped their hands off. That's what they did. That was their trademark thing. You'd be like, that's horrible. You'd be like, if there's a God, why would he let that happen? Why does he let spiders eat flies? You'd be like, oh, that's the heartless and shit. Well, okay, all I'm saying is this. Trust me. Suffering, at least you're suffering, you privileged Westerner, whatever, at least person with a computer and electricity and clothes and food and water and shelter, otherwise you would be watching this shit. Privileged person, as in minority on this planet, quite frankly. Go look up statistics about how many people have electricity. What are you doing with your electricity? Huh? Are you using it for something productive? People who don't have fucking food. You're just lounging around, bag of potato chips. Anyway, suffering is actually good for you. I tweeted that, like today or the other day. I said suffering and failure are awesome. They rule. I'll be honest with you. They rule after you come out of that shit, right? So I told people in my video today, go to TED.com. That's TED. TED.com. And I know you can't see that, but I'll pretend you can. TED.com is this website where they've got talks. It's not just a website. It's like this organization. Ideas worth spreading. And yeah, that's not a bad little moniker there. The problem with TED is that, at least from my perspective, is I just didn't get into it. I just didn't get into it. See, it looks great and it smells great and it is great. It's just not for me. I don't know why. It's got that you can go in here and look at all kinds of, like, it's incredible. It's really fucking incredible. All kinds of different genres, everything: technology, entertainment, design, business, science, global issues. You know, new releases and like, for instance, random shit. Okay, who's this guy? Lawrence Lessig. We the people and the republic we must reclaim. And it's got like 280,000 views and 324 comments, which I'll let you know in case you don't have a frame of reference for that kind of stuff. It's a lot. It is a lot. It looks like he's getting one comment for every 1,000 views. That's kind of on the low side, but 280,000 views is nothing to sneeze at. Like Vaynerchuk, my man Vaynerchuk, like for instance, I'm watching Gary Vaynerchuk over here, and what is it? Q&A with Gary Vaynerchuk. This guy's the bomb. Like Vaynerchuk, that's him over here. Like, you gotta check this stuff out, man. He's incredible. I don't care if you are into marketing or content or online or offline or inline or fine line. It doesn't matter. See, here's the beauty of an expert, a real expert with personality. He can talk about his shit to anybody. He can talk about it to kids. You know why? Because he's so passionate about it. He He tries so hard to make the other person understand what's on his mind. That's why I talk loud. That's why I got into an argument with my landlord. People sometimes have to pipe me down. Shh, be quiet. Like my buddy and me are in the gym doing weight lifts and all this stuff. And yeah, I'll be like mouthing off or this, that, or he'll be mouthing off or whatever. And then it's like, he sees some girl and it's like, look at that girl, I did this and I did that. Now there's Sam Harris. And he, like, here's the thing. He's actually handsome. I'm not gay, but he's handsome. And you know what? That's a plus point. I'm sorry, it's a plus point, right? So look what it says. Adored by secularists, feared by the pious. I don't fear him. Let's see, that's just a, like, when they say that, let's see, to me, that's not true. It's not correct. They've just made the blanket statement there. I'm anal about that shit. I'm fucking anal talking. Like I was talking earlier about how my grammar is impeccable. It's cause I haven't let it degenerate. I was with my wife for 8 years and there were times where I was tempted to say things the wrong way and let it slide. If I say something the wrong way, nowadays I don't say the wrong thing, as in I don't speak incorrectly in terms of grammar and syntax or what have you, as much as I used to, something like that. But let's put it this way. If I say something wrong, I'll correct it. That's the thing, I'll fucking correct it. I'll stop, I'll go back. Like, I'll be on a stage, I had this speech in Calgary, and like I was talking to people, and I couldn't find the right word, and I just stood there for like fucking 5 seconds, just trying to figure out the right word. And then I was like, okay, you know, propose or something. Anyway, listen to the guy talk. Okay, he's got this book called The Moral Landscape or something like that. Now I can't see, this is bad web design if you ask me. I can't find the button to his thingy. See, that sucks, man. I can't find the button to, you know what, whatever, right? So, vibe. Here's the thing with the vibe. You might ask yourself, and you should ask yourself as a starting point, why do I feel that negativity? Now the average person doesn't even ask. He feels negative and he'll frown at someone and all that kind of shit. And that's why his life sucks. All those beautiful people out there that you could be connecting to. Kids, interesting people, bitches if you're a guy. Guys will want to screw a girl and they'll also be judging her. How does that work? I figured that shit out. I figured out what's going on because I observed myself and I observed what was going on in my mind in the presence of a girl that was really hot or whatever. And I realized that I just didn't like her. How are you going to ask someone out who you don't like? And what happens is you'll go up to her and you'll start blabbing and it's just so fake. Of course it's going to be fake. In any case, the question, okay, so the starting point with vibes is, am I giving out a vibe? Is this guy giving out a vibe? Is there a vibe? All this kind of bullshit. Now, here's what pious people would say, which I bought for a while. They would say, and you know, there is something to it. There's something to, it's called husn dhan. Dhan means opinion. Husn is like my name, Hussein. It means good. A good opinion. You should have a good opinion, firstly of God, but moreover, you should have a good opinion. You should have a good opinion of God, but also of other people. Like, you should not impugn something negative to another person. For example, believers are meant to give other believers the benefit of the doubt 300 times before coming to a conclusion about something, without having established the facts, which by the way can only be corroborated using your eyes. Imam Ali said the difference between truth and falsehood is 4 fingers. Somebody asked him, what do you mean by that, master? He went like this. 4 fingers is the difference, is the length between your eyes and your ears. It's like if you put your foot goes from your wrist to your elbow. You might not think so, but that's how long your foot is, apparently. I tried it once, I think. Yeah, I'm pretty